Hey everybody, welcome back to Play Casket with your co-hosts, Paraka the Goblin and
Ghost, your co-host.
And today we're going to talk about stuff that we like to collect, like little collectibles and stuff like that.
Call me Smaug.
Yes, we like to collect a bunch of random stuff. A lot of nerd culture does this too. So we're just going to basically talk about why we do it and what makes us collect the things we do. Which is basically going to just start right there anyway. What makes us do this? What makes us collect the things?
I think it goes back to just like our lizard brains, like what we used to do back at Caveman. Stuff good. Collect more stuff. And I don't know, I think it's like goes back to just us liking to forage and collect things. Resources are good.
Shiny rock rare. Yeah. Must collect all shiny rock. And then something else was like, if you give me 2 shiny rock, I give you black rock. Black rock extra rare. We will exchange shiny rock for black rock. Yeah, stuff like that. I can see that. But why do we do it? Like ourselves, like what makes us, because there's a lot of people who have more of a minimalistic view and kind of want to do just strictly this or strictly that, or they have some kind of environmental purpose or something like that, and we're like, no, fuck you.
So for me, like personally, I like anime waifus, but Gundams, I guess, would be something. Titties, yes, that's all I need to know. Right. I guess Gundams would be something a little more specific, because like when it comes to my figures, I collect, like if it looks good, I'll just pick it up.
Right.
But for Gundams, I mean, if it's more specific, I like my Gundams. So, but particularly the UC kits, or the Universal Century series, they always have the best designs. And I love my chunky boys. They got to be like huge, giant, bulky, massive machines.
They actually got to look like something imposing.
Yeah, it just looks like a big giant steel of metal with a gun sticking out.
Like, be careful, Gundams. You might slip on a Lego, and this other one's like, I eat Legos for breakfast. Like, oh, we got a badass over here. Right? Yeah, I can see that. For me,
what do you like?
For me, I like to do, like, I used to collect a lot of other things, which we'll get into in a little bit here in this script. But for the most part, I like collecting video games. Mm-hmm. Like, that's more of what I wanted to do since I was in college education and all that. I wanted to collect things I can use. Like, that way, like, stuff that's nostalgic and stuff like that. I love those video games. Mm-hmm. Like, I love physical video games, so I can have them on a shelf, so I can actually, like, browse them without hurting my finger scrolling so hard. But no, seriously, I like having them on a shelf so I can actually kind of browse them and just like stand in awe on some of the stuff that has been made and stuff. Like, I can't believe they did all these type of games for this system or something to that point, right?
Yeah. It is more satisfying to look at the spine when you got like a huge giant library.
Yeah, there's something really satisfying about that, especially when you have nothing but red and you can just see all sorts of ones that are like very unique and stuff. Or you could just see one, like a pattern you see with all the spines going up and down due to the title and stuff. And then you see one that's just straight and that's all the sequels that just came out, like Just Dance or RBI Baseball or what are the other ones. They have like Atelier, and you could tell which ones just because of that pattern. Mm-hmm. And you just sit there like, wow, I can't believe there is Atelier series released 7 times on this one system. Like stuff like that. Like it's kind of interesting, because when you think about it, when you were younger, like every 4 or 5 years, you would have a new system, so that you would only have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 of the series in one game, in one system. And then they'll drastically be improved, so 4 is just blows you out of the water type of thing, like Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. Like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 was very similar and stuff like that because it was on the PlayStation. Then comes the GameCube, PlayStation 2, 4 came out and just tossed the whole thing aside, like, we're going to do it this way now, and it blew everyone out of the water. And then 7 came out, which I think 7, when it came out in the next generation, it was actually them attempting a VR game that was unique, and they're like, fuck, just toss Resident Evil on it. No, we're not sure if this new horror game would actually sell otherwise. Mm-hmm. But that's why I like collecting video games. Like, I love going back and kind of revisiting some of the old games. Like, why was this game so horrible, or why did this game never continue?
Yeah,
and that's actually how we did a lot of our scripts, doing a lot of recordings and stuff too, because we had a lot of games like Kingsfield, Lost Kingdoms, and stuff like that we like to do, and then we're like, man, how come it just didn't take off? And you could go back and play them.
Yeah.
You know, a digital form on that just doesn't work as well. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, people keep saying that PC is the master race. It only works until it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the point. And there's some games out there that are just lost to time because nobody's going to archive them because nobody likes them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Or the George Lucas your video game.
Like or the George Lucas your video game. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But I still like them, right? But one of my favorite things to collect, like even though I have a lot of video games, and that's one of the good things, I actually have a very particular series. It's more of a nostalgia and more of a fan, like me being a fanatic of Blizzard as a company.
Your favorite thing, or what the thing that you're most proud of, I guess?
Not necessarily. It's just more of a particular series. It's actually a figure set.
Oh, okay.
There's a series called Blizzard Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a cheaper version of their statues, like by several $100s.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $60 to $70. It's not bad. But they were in a little hexagonal platform, and they're kind of very cartoony, very stylized. But they're like made out of a resin, mm-hmm. right? So they're less breakable. They're more cartoony and stuff like that. But I kind of like the whole unified theme with them, mm-hmm. so I like to collect them. There wasn't many that they made, but I did like them. I want to see more of them because they still haven't touched Diablo, and I am upset. They have a Crusader and they have Malthael from the Diablo series, but they do not have Diablo himself, and that upsets me greatly.
I know for me, I think things I collect is just more on a whim. Everything else is just, it looks cool. I want it. Like that's I have no theme on what I do really. It's just a certain series I like, and then if it looks good, I just pick it up. That's it. It's so whimsical. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm more articulate because otherwise I would just be collecting a lot of stupid stuff. But what's your favorite one? What's your thing that just like you're proud to own?
The perfect grade unicorn. That was like, I know like they're mass produced, but it's just I don't know. I really like how it took so long for me to get there, and I'm really proud of it. Although even my perfect grade Banshee is built a little bit nicer because I had like extra experience on top of another perfect grade, mm-hmm. But I don't know. He's just really good. He's really nice to look at, and he lights up and all that fun stuff. But it was just like good to see how far I've gone and how long it's been until I got to it. Because I was like anticipating, and then saved up enough, and I built one. I was like, oh man, this is something I'm kind of proud of, just because it took so long to get to there. So
right on. I do have one. I didn't build anything. It's not something I've made or built or anything. I actually have I have a huge fan of two different RPGs that barely get any recognition now, which is Skies of Arcadia and Legend of Dragoon. Mm-hmm. Skies of Arcadia actually got a very rare, very hard to find first four figure set for Vice, the main character in Ica just recently released. And for me, I just never really got it and couldn't get around to it, and budget's really tight and stuff. And eventually, somebody was able to get it for me for my Christmas gift. Mm-hmm. And it is, to this day, the only first four figures I have, and the only one I do care for. Now, there's a lot in first four figures that I'm actually really excited about, period. Like, mm-hmm. I'm really excited about them. But that doesn't mean they are the same way as me. Like, for me, it's just not, it doesn't resonate with me like that one, mm-hmm. as well as that one does. And honestly, if that's the only one I'll have, that's fine. Like, I absolutely enjoy it.
Okay.
That being said, yeah, that's probably the only one I'm really, really favored on. And I've actually even looked at, like, when you look at first four figures, you actually see a lot of people try to resell theirs for like hundreds of dollars more. Mm-hmm. To this day, I've not seen anybody sell that one. So everyone who owns that figure is a Skies of Arcadia fan, because they ain't selling it.
Okay.
So like that dude, he knows what's up. But we had some weird childhood collections. Do you ever remember any of them like that?
The only one I remember was yo-yos. Like, I was obsessed with yo-yos. I'm still obsessed with yo-yos, but yeah, it was just like this huge fad at school, and I don't know, they're really fun, and I'm trying to think of what else. Scooters were also like a really big fad. They were really fun.
I've never really even had a scooter. I remember a lot of people having scooters. I remember being like you could do so many tricks, like spin it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it was also when like sports and like, was it X Games and skateboarding and Tony Hawk was like on the rise. Yeah. So it was around that.
And Tony Hawk wasn't even that great of a dude. Like, he wasn't, like, he really wasn't. Like, there was actually several other people on his time that was actually still more flashier and more entertaining to watch than Tony Hawk. He just happened to have the right agents to, like, sell him, basically.
Oh, okay.
He really wasn't that great of a dude.
His name just sounds cool. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that also helps, like that. I'm pretty sure that, because if you look at like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and you go through some of the characters that are in it, you're gonna be like, yeah, they're just normal names. Like Tony Hawk is Tony Hawk. So yeah,
with the hawk in his name. Yeah.
A man who's a fierce bird of prey in his name. No, I was one of those ridiculous kids. So we talked about creepy crawlers during our holiday little event and stuff. And that was one of the things I'm not going to get too into. I collected a lot of what I made.
Mm-hmm.
They're ugly. They're horrible. But I had boxes and boxes of all the stuff I made. Like, it wasn't not necessarily I was proud of them, but nobody else was giving me them. Like,
oh, okay.
Like, it's kind of similar to how 3D prints would be now. Like, every time I do a 3D printer stuff, like, I would do something I'm going to probably hang around for. Like, I have a couple buffed low poly versions of the 3 starters of Pokemon in their colors, and they just look shiny. That's something I like to do.
Okay.
But it's nothing like I'm obsessed with. I'm not going to try to find all the low poly like models and 3D print them and stuff. That sounds dumb. I might as well just do it myself.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do remember talking about that I haven't talked about before that I've collected was the Beanie Baby, like, edgy knockoffs. The Meanie Babies.
Really?
Yeah. They were... I'm not sure if you were familiar with them. Nah. But they were ridiculous. There was several of them. Like, basically, they were supposed to be like the gross... They had the gross out humor and stuff like that. One of them was called Cold Turkey. So it was a turkey that had all of his feathers pulled and he was like freezing. He was all blue and all that. Splat the Cat, which was actually a cat that had 2 tire marks running over his midsection, so he was like super flat. Yeah. There's Fi and Do, which was a mutant 2-headed dog. There was all sorts of them. In fact, Captain Crunch even did a promo of them and stuff back in the day too. So he actually got a couple from Captain Crunch as well. There was one that was kind of a knockoff on Tony the Tiger and such. It was hilarious. It was some good stuff. It wasn't as popular, but they had a bunch that were very interesting and entertaining. And some of them are actually getting very rare to find now, just because they weren't as popular as Beanie Babies at the time. But they were there. They were entertaining. And for me as a kid, I was like, yeah, like I was into Booger Man and Earthworm Jim and stuff. So it was actually really, really cool for me.
Yeah.
Like, I was all kind of excited. I'm like, man, they have plushes that represent me, when I was a kid. So yeah, I have actually a full collection of those floating around somewhere, hiding in a box in some dark corner of maybe my parents' basement or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was probably the only one I really collected as a child. Mm-hmm. It was actually really entertaining. But there's a couple things, even when I was a kid, I didn't really understand. But now when I'm an adult, I still don't understand. There's some that you don't understand as far as what other people like collecting.
But bodily stuff. Those are
gross.
Well, right there, like the only reason why they do it is to like try to get into the Guinness Book of World Records. Like,
I think that's like the only thing somebody would ever want to do that for. But there's some people who probably unironically collect them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like there's no monetary gain or value to it. And I know it sounds materialistic, but at the very least, like,
I don't even see an emotional connection to that.
Yeah. But when you collect enough of, like, even, I collect back scratchers. Like that's something you could at least sell, which is like, wow, he has all these weird back scratches from all around the world. Somebody, you'll get somebody who's really interested and will buy it. But when it's like, oh, I got 50 pounds of toenails, it's like, who's gonna buy that? But yeah,
who's gonna be able to price that for your like insurance and stuff too? Like, how's that really gonna work out?
So when it's that weird, yeah, I'm like, you're just trying to get famous, yeah.
Yeah, like no, there's a lot of things that are just holding somebody back on that one. Mine's not as gross, or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's find out. Funko Pop. Yeah, I know it's disgusting. No, I don't like. So Funko as a brand, like a company, they actually make a variety of different series of stuff, and some of them are actually not too bad. There's actually a couple high-end ones that they do, like resin or vinyl casts that they do that actually are pretty interesting. The Funko Pops, however, are godless heathens, and they should have never been born. Like honestly don't understand the popularity. Like I could understand it being famous for the unironically like collectors, like I'm collecting them just like I collected the dead rabbit statues that one other one did or something like that. I think it was like Bad Robot or something. Like it was a dumb one too, but they never took off.
Yeah.
But this one, it's just unending.
Yeah.
And they're just constantly churning these things out every week. And I have no idea who the hell's buying up all these. And there's some of them like they have like variations of one dude like 4 or 5 times that aren't even like that drastic. Like Han Solo and Han Solo on Hoth. I'm like, he literally looks the same. He's a slightly bluer one. And then they start doing the limited edition ones. Like this one, we accidentally painted dark blue, but you know what? It's a Walmart exclusive. And then people are like, I needs it. I'm like, it's only blue. Like, it baffles me. Like, I've only ever bought 2 Funko Pop. Like, I actually went on my way and bought 2 Funko Pop, which was Arthas from World of Warcraft and Diablo, or Tyrael from the Diablo series.
Yeah.
That's it. I've only ever bought them. Those are the only 2 I've ever really wanted, because those are 2 that resonate with me the most. That's it. That's all I've ever bought.
Yeah.
I like other games. I like more of the characters in the games I did buy. But these 2 characters really resonate with me the most. I like these characters. They were the coolest 2 that I thought back in the day. And like, would you like to collect all the other 565.723 of them? No.
Yeah.
No, I will not adopt your more of your godless heathens. You can just keep them in the fucking church where they belong.
Yeah, no, for me, I like my super high detailed figures, not just some little.
No, I haven't like I'm not too much on a high detail one. Like I do like high detail, but I'm okay with very stylish characters and stuff like that too, but not. I can't call this style. I feel like this was just cut way too much to a point where it's just so kids can buy them.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like, and it didn't appeal to kids. It just appealed to a bunch of childless and parentless people who are now in their mid-30s and have nowhere else to go. Yeah, I just called you all out. But yes, that's basically what I'm thinking. Like, that's all. Like, I can't fathom that. Like, they have some other ones that I'm actually surprised didn't take off. There's one that was more progressive in a way. It was called like the Rocketeers or something like that. But so basically, a lot of female comic books, like female comic book heroes and stuff, and villains, and they're done in a way that's kind of like 1950s retro styles and stuff like that, with a little bit of punk to it. Like there's a unique like little dash of punk to it, which actually it's not bad. Like it's honestly, I feel like it's very entertaining, and they actually look very good, and they're very catchy, eye-catching and stuff. I'm actually surprised that did not take off. You would think it'd take off, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
even
I think price point's also like where it's at.
Oh, it wasn't even that much higher. Like, it was maybe about $4 or $5 higher than your Funko Pops. I mean, granted, that'll add up, but at the same time, there's people buying like way too many Funko
I
Pops.
don't know. I think all it takes is one person who's willing to buy one for $1 million, and
that's probably just like how Amiibos happened. Like the Marth that sold that day. I think this is the most hilarious. The Marth that sold that day probably looked the worst out of all the Marth reprints, and that dude spent $300 on it, and then everybody freaked the hell out. Like that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And now nobody could buy them, or nobody wants them. They're all full.
Yeah, well, like Best Buy and stuff will get a reprint every now and again and stuff. It's just hard to find some of the rarer ones and stuff. I'm still trying to find the Magnum Hollow. But other than that, I probably have a bunch of the ones I do want. I wanted the Gold Mega Man. I had a chance to get it multiple times, and I passed on it because Amiibos were still a little bit too crazy. But it is what it is. But I would like to thank you all. We're going to go ahead and end it right there. And I'd like to thank you all for listening to us, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.